Oops. Okay.
Hi, I'm Avery Bevins.
And I'm Eva Trahan.
And we're here to talk to you about
FUGE 2013!
2013!
We recently went to FUGE and Centrifuge, and we learned about lots of stuff, and we actually had the joy of rooming together.
Not just rooming together, but we had pretty much our whole day together because we ended up getting the same tracks and things like that. So
we had drama and percussion together, and the only time we were not together was at Bible study groups and free time, except for we spent most of our free time together too.
I was with Bailey and Logan.
Anyway, we had drum and percussion together, and it was actually a lot of fun being on campus all day.
Yeah, and while we were learning about, in church, we got to have a lot of fun outside of that, and I learned a lot too, and those tracks that we had. What should I talk about now?
We had rec. Before we went to our tracks, we went to rec, and we got to hike up a lovely mountain.
Oh yes, so every day with our small groups that we were put in, we weren't in the same small group, but
sadly,
we were with a lot of other people from everywhere, I guess, around the country. We would have to hike up a mountain, and
it was a really steep mountain.
I fell every single time, up and down. And we would go up there, and at the top there's a huge field, and we would play games, but they weren't just games. Some of them were games about where you learned about trust, responsibility, anything, but they were really fun, and I got close, and I met a lot of people there too.
There was this one game we played, and there was a helium stick, and your whole team had to have both your fingers on the helium stick and lower it to the ground. Not until the end we found out it was just a hula hoop that has been untwisted.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, if somebody raised their fingers, everybody raised their fingers, and the helium stick would go up. And then at the end we found out it wasn't a helium stick, and we were doing it, and we still couldn't get it to touch the ground. But after that, my leader, talked to my small group about teamwork and how teamwork can get you through anything.
Yes. And, let's see. I want to talk about the rooming. I had to room with her and Miss Christie, and
I had the best roommates.
I felt that I got a lot closer with my roommates, and I know with rooming with her and Miss Christie, there's a lot of talking.
At night, when some people are trying to go to bed.
We stayed up a lot past our bedtime.
Lights out.
Yeah. Our lights were on.
Yeah, our lights stayed on really late.
Yeah, but we could talk about anything. Me and Eva were already friends, but we got a lot closer, and we could talk about anything. And
a lot of things that I didn't expect for us to talk about, or, I didn't expect certain things that happened, and it was really interesting rooming with my small group leader and Avery. And even though everybody in the girls' block that we were with thinks I have multi-personality disorder, after the third night, it was still a lot of fun, even if they made fun of me for the rest of the trip.
And I know she had fun rooming with me, especially because I brought a suitcase just for food.
She did.
A suitcase, just for food.
It was completely filled with food. And it was, it actually brought a lot of us girls closer together, because at night, everyone would come into our room.
Everyone.
All the girls from our church would come into our room.
They would come in and steal my food.
They'd take our food.
This is mine.
It was a really amazing experience getting to spend a week being so close to so many girls from our church.
And every day I would be excited for the worship, because I know that was everyone's favorite part. And the worship was just amazing. Sorry about that. The worship was just amazing because all the songs got stuck in your head, and the whole time at camp, I was just singing in my head all those songs, and even when I tried not to try to get them out of my head, I couldn't, because every time I come into my room, she was taking a shower, singing those songs in the shower, really loud in the shower.
I did.
And
the music was amazing.
Yeah.
They did get stuck in my head, all the songs they sang, and worship was just so powerful and opening. You know, you didn't have to worry about people judging you if you put your hands in the air, and if you got into it, you didn't have to worry about being judged by other people there. And it brought me closer to people from our church.
And there's like 1,600 people there, a little more than that. So it was like packed full, but you didn't feel like closed in. Feel open.
You could open yourself, and just anything you wanted to give to the Lord, you could, and it was amazing. And then the next day, going to my small group and them telling me how many people from their church got saved the night before, it was really amazing.
And because there were so many people there, I mean, you were bound to make a friend. I met so many people, but I met a lot of people too, and they were also nice. We were on the top floor, which is the 4th floor, and I was going down the elevator, and there's me and one other girl in there, and I guess she looked on the bag that I had, it says Avery on it, and she was like, "Oh, your name's Avery? My name's Avery too." We just started a conversation from there, and I made a new friend.
There were 2 girls in my Bible study named Bevins and Jocelyn, and they were my age, and the first night at Bible study, I was terrified to say anything to anybody. But by the 3rd day, I was sitting with the boys and girls from my Bible study group, eating lunch with them and spending my free time with them and offering them to come and meet my youth leaders and my friends that I came with. And it was really odd, but at the same time, it was warming to my heart to know that people from a totally different state and place had the same feelings for Jesus that I did.
Yeah, and I was walking up the mountain with my small group, and one of the girls in my group, her name was Hannah. She was from, I think it was Virginia, and we just started talking, and she was really nice, and we had a lot in common. And I mean, at first we just started talking about, I don't know, just the things we watch on TV, and we both love Cartoon Network. But then we started talking about our youth groups, and I noticed that we got to learn about the things that we do, I mean, at our churches, and there's a lot of people, and they lived maybe even in different lifestyles than us, and it was really cool to meet everyone. And then she would introduce me to her friends from her church, and I would meet so many other people.
I remember closing celebration, Avery and I got to perform together along with Brandon, Xavier, and Tatiana also performed, and she did really well. But Brandon and Avery and I performed in drama together, and it was very terrifying for me. I had really bad stage fright, and then after drama, Avery and I performed in percussion together, which was a lot of fun. But the whole time I'm freaking out before we go on stage, and then, I'm sitting there and I'm freaking out, and I think to myself, don't worry about all the people sitting there staring at me, and if I mess up, they'll know. But it didn't matter, because it wasn't for me, it wasn't for anybody out there, it was for the Lord, and yeah.
Usually I would get nervous, but I get more nervous in small crowds than I do large crowds. And I got out there, and of course I was a little nervous, but we had a lot of fun. I love the percussion because you kind of got to do whatever you wanted. You got out there, and I think that we got the loudest claps.
Yeah, our church cheered for us so loud.
All I heard was "Go Eva, go Avery."
I guess we're just that good. We'd have to get up breakfast started at 7 a.m. every morning. And so my room would set our alarms for 6, and, you know, then we'd all press snooze 3 times and wouldn't get up till 6:30. But 3 of us in a room getting up at 6:30, we'd all still be up and ready to go by 7 o'clock to get to breakfast. And, you know, after breakfast we would go to morning celebration and we'd worship, and the pastor would talk a little bit, but as soon as morning celebration ended, we went on to our Bible study groups and our small groups, and we would go on with our day and do things for the Lord and play games and then learn lessons and go to Bible study, and then, you know, go to lunch and have free time and everything and do our quiet time. Avery and I did our quiet time together a few times. And I remember one day I didn't do mine with her, and it had asked me all these questions about my life and, you know, the hardest news I've had to break to somebody, how I did it, and who, and what were some of the other questions?
A lot of them made us read scriptures and compare what it was saying to our life and how we can use that in our life.
But the quiet time definitely let me reflect on my life and my life back home in the Lord and how everything was going.
Are y'all watching it?
No.
But I mean, it was a great experience, and it was great bonding with other people from our church and getting closer to the Lord.
What else can I say?
Yeah, do you have anything else to say?
Oh, we probably need to explain. Quiet time. Well, did we explain what it was?
Quiet time was, well, you can go ahead and explain. I don't really
Quiet
know
time, once we got there, we got this little, like, booklet thing, and every day we would have to do something in it, and it would have scriptures for us to read and questions, and it kind of explained what we were going to be talking about that day during, like, the sermon or in our small groups. And I think that's it.
How have you realized yourself since you got back? I know since I've been back, you know, I've just been trying to live for the Lord and do what I feel He'd like me to do. And I've prayed a lot more, and I've read some scripture, and I don't know, I just know the trip's brought me a lot closer to the Lord.
And the trip was so much fun. I got back and I went to my room and I'm like, I'm bored. Like, I want to go back and, like, stay there forever. It was, like, so much fun, and it was just the best camp ever. The most amazing experience.
Best camp ever.
You know, Charles says this is a 15-minute video, and it's been like 13 minutes, and it's not
Yeah,
going to be just us.
I guess I didn't really have much else to say.
So, this is it for today.
I hope you enjoyed.
I'm Avery Bevins.
And I'm Trahan. This was our camp experience.